Hey guys, and good Sunday evening. Michael Clark here with BAM Weather and your week ahead forecast outlook. And I want to start off by really going into some really deep explanations tonight about the weather forecast. And how emotions are high. Folks need rain in spots. Some folks have gotten rain. Some folks have not. Listen, I totally get it. I understand frustrations, and I get it. I do. I want to reiterate to you guys that we're not the enemy here. A lot of people are mad at us right now, and that's okay. I will take that. It's all right. I got thick skin. But guys, we're trying to give you big picture. You have to understand the word big picture here. Weather forecast data when we're looking at this, because everything reacts to the big picture. If we sit down 1,000 clients and 750 of them get rain and the remainder don't, the big picture doesn't care about that. I care. We care that you didn't get it. Trust me. And we relate, and we hate it for you. But guys, when the general pattern and the general data shift to somewhere else, the big picture goes with it. Okay? I don't have a dog in the hunt, but I'm not an idiot. I know how this stuff works. I've been doing it a long time, and I'm pretty good at it. Okay? So I'm just trying to help. That's it. I want to explain this to you. I really do. I'm really, really passionate about this. This is a slide I put together, and I tweeted it because I want people to see this. Global weather model maps are 80% plus of the time are going to be too widespread and broad brushed with coverage of rainfall. Several days out, even a couple of days. They have to be used for general takeaways. They just do not have the skill to do anything different. It's not possible. It can't be done. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what map you look at, what model you look at, what source you look at. The technology does not exist. It's not there. It never will be. To nail the rainfall forecast down to your address 3, 4, 5 days out, it will not happen. If it does, awesome. That's great. It tried. That's the goal, is it tries, but it's not designed to do that. It's designed to give you the general takeaway that 70% of the map you see might be right. You have to understand this. There's no model that's ever going to be the super duper 9000 that just nails everything. It's not real. It's not reality. And I'm just not going to say that it'll ever happen. Number 2, above average does not mean you're going to get 4 inches of rain. If we say above average rain is coming, that means if you average 1 inch in 7 days, you might get 1.1 inches. You might get 1.5. You might get 2.5. The bottom line is that above average does not mean flash flooding, widespread, everybody gets drenched with rain. Not what it means. And on the other end of the spectrum, below average does not mean 0 inches of rain. Okay? Below average means is if you average 1 inch of rain in 7 days, you might get a ½ inch. You might get a ¼ inch. You might get 9/10 of the 1 inch. It's still below average. The timeliness of rainfall in the middle of the growing season means more than anything versus departures from normal. Okay? If you haven't had rain in a month, and the crop is pollinating and you get 1 inch of rain, that's a big, big deal. It matters. Okay? Number 3, more active does not mean we're going to go from 10% of the normal rain, which would mean only 2/10 if you get 1 inch, to 300% of the normal. And everyone's going to get rain and everything's different now. When you say more active, things are changing. You might have 1 or 2 rain chances now versus the 0 that you've had for the last month. That's what that means in the technical world of forecasting weather. Okay? So I'm really trying to help here. I'm trying to get you to understand just what this stuff means. Take my opinion out. Take me out of the equation. You might not even like me. Take me out. This is what the data is. It's how it works. It's how it's designed. And the model data, listen, weather model data has limitations, big ones. And if you're looking at a map, looking at your address, looking at the specifics, 9 out of 10 times you will be disappointed and or mad about that forecast. It's just the way that it is. Since mid-May, we have said the pattern is going to get cooler and wetter the second week of June. And that's what's happened. Some people have got that rain, some people have not. We understand that. But the big picture, what everyone's looking at, is they see that. All right? Listen, if it did not rain in your backyard, we apologize. I'm sorry. I can't make it rain. Or I would. You kidding me? I would make it rain for all of you. Okay? I would. Now, let's get into the forecast. Okay? Rainfall, the last 72 hours. If there's a place where this whole thing underperformed, where we didn't get the rain that we thought we'd get over the weekend and it was lower, all right, that really is going to be right in through here where models, Thursday into Friday had more rain further north. They just did not materialize with this area. Now, some folks got a quarter, 3/10 of an inch in this area, and it is still raining in some spots. I will take you to live radar as of 6:15 this evening real quick just to show you what's going on. But we cannot deny the underperformance of that for sure. Okay, this is a radar loop here as of this evening. Okay, of what's going on. Let that kind of load up in here. It's getting splotchy here. Let me get it to the last frame. You can see a lot of rain ongoing across the eastern belt, Indiana, Illinois, or Ohio, Michigan. It's light up in here. This is not heavy rain. It's just a steady light rain. It's the first rain these folks have seen here in a long time. It's a big deal to at least see some rain. It's telling us that, hey, you know what? It can rain, right? So that's the area that if there was underperformance in the modeling, that there certainly was that, okay? Now, we look at precipitation ranks from May 14th to June 11th, all right? We are sitting at, no doubt about it, in the eastern Corn Belt. This is the driest stretch out into the northeast of weather for that period that we've seen in history. It's the driest stretch of weather we've seen. This rainfall that's on radar right now is it literally a critical rain, and it is helping somewhat. Now, northern Indiana, Michigan, it's not that big of a rain. We know. It's not a big rain. Okay? But at least it's raining, and I do have some more rain chances in the forecast for you. I've got some good news. I'm going to share it with you in just a second. Temperatures here have saved this from being a really bad situation where we're just burning up completely and there's nothing left. Temperatures have not been hot here. They have in the northern plains. Now, elsewhere, it's top 5 dry stretch. Okay? It is. It's no question about it. It has rained in the last month in some of these spots. There is some moisture that has been seen. Again, big takeaway here is the big picture. Okay? This is a look here at rainfall chances over the next week, essentially. This is a 48-hour forecast for Tuesday. That upper level low that's spinning here, it's going to draw moisture into northern Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. So more rain is going to come in this area as we get into that Tuesday time frame. Okay? And then as we get into Saturday, Sunday next week, we have a bigger weather system possible here that's going to offer up sporadic rainfall chances across the belt. And then late next weekend into early next week, okay, so it's days 7 and 8, another shot of rain here, okay? And then in the extended period, that might lift north a little bit, and there might be some more rain here. These are 48-hour chunks later next week, okay? So there are rain chances in the forecast. The flow pattern does support the potential for rain. And let me tell you something. The flow pattern coming, the west and northwest flow aloft, the model data does not do well with these patterns. It rains when it's not supposed to. You guys know this. You've seen this stuff in the years past where it's like, oh shoot, we woke up today and it's raining, and rain wasn't in the forecast. I think that's where we're going for a time. All right? So please understand. Week 1 GFS precip on the left here. All right, I'm going to move this over. Listen, again, general takeaway here. Okay, the general takeaway, if I look at this map, is we've got less rain up in here. Some places might get some rain, but there's more dry signal than there is wet. Down here, I see that there's more rain, so more people will get rain than people that don't. Okay? This is with what's going through now, plus the wave coming through the upper level low that's going to swing through on Tuesday, right? That's week 1. That's this is the next 7 days. This is from this morning out 7 days. This is week 2. And this is where the flow pattern is being picked up by the GFS model. Okay? You're going to have thunderstorm clusters and chances of rain that come through here and amongst the northwest flow aloft. Okay? This map tells me there's going to be some significant drier risks to the forecast whoever ends up underneath the ridge in week 2. That's what this map tells me. We got to figure out where that ridge is going to set up. That's critical. Okay? So when we look at this, when we look at the flow pattern here, here's the week 1 flow pattern, right? We have the big trough over the Great Lakes, and that's where that moisture is right now. That's what we're seeing here. All right? Week 2, here is your upper level ridging. Now, when you have this, you've got this trough off the west coast. Your flow pattern is going to have precipitation coming up and around the periphery of that ridge, and there's another trough here in the east. So in this particular instance, this is a wet look, okay? It's not everybody gets rain everywhere, and there's going to be a lot of chances of rain is what I think what it equates to when you have that flow pattern, okay? Week 2 analogs, they look like this. When you look at just analog data with years that have similar weather patterns, all right? Note the analog data. They see this flow pattern here showing the precipitation chances, and they show seasonal to below normal temperatures. Now, I will say there is some discrepancy in that. The European data is a little bit warmer. It's trying to warm it up faster. And remember, we have called for a mid-June warm-up. If you go back to our outlooks last week, we talked about mid-June warmer risks. It is in the cards for a time as that ridge establishes itself, but precipitation can flow around the periphery of the ridge. Okay, remember, just because a map has a brown color or a red color and it shows below normal precip, it doesn't mean that that's absolutely a bone-dry pattern and no rainfall. Okay, here's the bias-corrected North American ensemble forecast. Okay, this is the probability of precipitation forecast. Is it going to be above or below normal? Well, you can kind of see what's happening here. The flow path, the ridge is down here, okay? And it, generally speaking, this area is wetter. There's a possibility there could be some dryness in this area somewhere, all right? Generally speaking, the flow pattern would promote average to slightly above average precipitation risks. But, again, a warmer risk is developing, around a 40% probability of above normal temperatures now into week 2. Okay? So, what's beyond week 2? What's beyond what I've just talked about? The flow pattern across the periphery of the ridge here across the top. We look to the tropical forcing if you're still watching. All right? And this is where things get tough. A lot of the modeling is trying to take our MJO forecast back into this phase 1-ish area. Okay, we're propagating this upward motion into the eastern Pacific, western Indian Ocean, and we're back into phase 1. What does phase 1 look like? Well, phase 1's a little bit warmer, all right, but it's also wetter. And the reason for that is because there can be some weak ridging with over-the-top precipitation risks. You can kind of see if you look at the pattern here as a whole. In that phase 1 map, you can kind of see where there might be some heights down here and precip's coming here. It's flowing around the top of it like that. That's kind of the idea in that regard. There is some potential for that. So what does that mean? Well, the forecast, if I can get my video out of the way so you guys can see get my ugly mug out of the way. Week 3 forecast, you kind of see it. All right, it's wet here. It's average to above average rain, average to above average rain in week 4. The question becomes, I showed this last video, last Sunday, updated analogs. The question becomes, where we into week 3, where we lose confidence in this forecast a little bit right now, is some of the model data is trying to bring this area of concern here to the northwestern third of the belt and bring those temperatures here and kind of bring the precipitation risks up and under and over and keep it cooler out through here. Some of the model data is trying to hint at this into early July right now. So these analogs present a risk to this pattern as we get into July, that area of concern might be something that does come back. Instead of being over the Great Lakes, it might be in the northwestern portion of the northern plains of the Corn Belt. I am going to be watching that very carefully. Confidence, again, is low on that, but I'll be watching it. So I hope this video helps. I really, truly do. I wish I could just talk to you guys in person. I wish you knew you could see me and talk to me, shake my hand, and know that we try to show you the best possible data, the best possible outcomes. We really do. We try to, explain this as much as possible. But guys, this slide right here, this is true stuff. And it will help you to understand this if you can learn this more. This is a big deal. No weather model will ever be perfect, and the weather models sometimes in patterns suck, and I wish we could use a different way, but sometimes we just don't have any. And it's just the limitations of the science, of the field. We're predicting the future, and it's not easy. So if you have questions, reach out. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.